Today, I would like to talk about Section 1, Introduction. Definition. Generation Z is defined as the demographic cohort after the Generation Y, which is often synonymously as post-millennial and I generation. The millennial or Generation Y are the demographic cohort after Generation X. Millennials are sometimes referred to echo boomers as well. Digital native describe an individual who was raised in a digital or media-saturated world. It doesn't refer to a particular generation. Instead, it is a catch-all category for children who have grown up using technology such as computer, internet, and mobile devices. This topic needs an attention because there is a pervasive misconception about digital natives, which is they have some kind of inborn knowledge or learning ability in connection with digital products. However, it may be true for specific subgroup for this generation, but it is false for the generation as a whole. In fact, as new technology emerges, the new generation will have different social behavior and become more fragmented. Consequently, it could be argued that different exposure of environment would mean different people are born. So, there is no one future generations to be specific and better or worse.
Today, I'm going to explain about the Section 2. Literature review, which is the background and characteristic of Generation Z, Millennials, and Digital Native. Now, let's take a look on the background of Generation Z, whether you want to admit or not. The Generation Z, also known as the iGen, Post-Millennials, Screen Agers, Digital Integrators, or the Zs, will be dominating the future. These people were born between the 1990s to late 2000s and having an ending year ranging of the late 2000s to early 2010s. One of the characteristics of Generation Z is they are precocious. Precocious puberty occurs in Generation Z is due to the growing awareness of interpersonal resources and the many facets of social behavior. Besides that, they also learn to be cautious in different situations, in different ways to deal with the conflict. Secondly, Generation Z also affects their life preference and spending. Because of that, a higher cost of living and their preference can significantly affect their family buying decision. Thirdly, Generation Z pay more attention to their own values and appearance. According to the statistic by Ali Research Institute, the Generation Z of men's makeup has a growth rate of 122%, while men's skincare has a growth rate of 82%. Lastly, from the point of view of money, Generation Z are more conservative, more money-orientated, more entrepreneurial, and pragmatic. As you can see, here's the background of millennials. Sometimes, millennials are also called as Generation Y, the bad generation, or echo boomers. They have a range of early 1980s as the starting birth years, and the mid-1990s to 2000s as ending birth years. The growth of this generation are almost coincident with internet, computer, rapid development period formation. Now, let's take a look at the elements of the characteristic of millennials. Firstly, they are not persistent in accomplishing one thing at a time. Besides that, they have short-in-time interest and low commitments at doing a particular thing for a long time. Moreover, they are aware on their life priorities. Insecurity and high consumption are the characteristics of this generation too. Last but not least, they are ranked that friendship and family are most important. This tells us that they are not truly materialistic. Thank you.
Good day to you. Today I'm going to talk about the background of digital native. Digital natives are the next generation of the worker, and they included anyone who has grown up with constant access to the internet. They are not a homogeneous group with equal access to technology, and their brains does not adapt to their environments in the same way. Here is some characteristic of the digital native. Digital native can strengthening brain cells that regulate specific activities. They are used to connecting a large network of people instantaneously and calling vast store of information. Besides that, the ability to respond to several different stimuli at the same time is called continuous partial attention. Next, it is a business need to accept that young people will choose different ways of paying attention based on the task at hand. Thank you.
Good day. Today I would like to talk about the comparison of Generation Z and Millennial in daily life. Firstly, Generation Z prefer in-store shopping, while the Millennial shop online. Millennials are professional online shoppers. They will use their smartphones or laptops anytime they want something new, and they take advantage of this convenience and arrogance. However, Gen Z actually will shop in stores. They like to feel and see products in person for the quality warranty. And they are also keen on unique experience that happen in stores. Gen Z are multitasking compared to Generation Y. Generation Z can focus on many things at the same time. For example, Generation Z will do many things all at once instead of doing only one at a time, like what the millennial will normally do. Nowadays, most of the people will have travel stress. The travel stress for millennials is rush hour traffic. They usually face this problem during the school holidays and the public holidays. Conversely, the travel stress for Gen Z is Wi-Fi-less. Gen Z will request for Wi-Fi at wherever they visit. Gen Z require Wi-Fi to go to social media such as Twitter, Instagram, and etc. Gen Z prefer approaching people face-to-face instead of using digital communication like what the millennials will practically do. This is because Generation Z found face-to-face interaction more persuasive and trustworthy than interaction via the internet. Well, for the millennials, social media are the most cost-effective platform to reach people as it is convenient. Next, the difference between the millennial and Gen Z in teaching and learning in higher education institutions is about their learning progression. Generation Z will learn more effectively if they are left to solve problems and find solutions. All their gaming experience has been used in solving problems so that they can progress to a greater problem. When the students see the progress they are making, they become addicted to success. They will continue to work at the level of a game for a long time because they realize that each time they fail, they have just learned one more strategy and at least know what won't work. Well, for Generation Y, they can only perform on questions which are based on limited and irrelevant knowledge from their syllabus. This makes them lack of very problem-solving skills.
Oh my god, oh my god. The club is packed, I rap the rap. ladies are in here from front to back and they love my soul, I reply. Baby girl, don't you know that I am the fly? Hands in the sky, don't ask why. Party on down with Big Bow Wow. I got style, got flair, got you right there. I got enough stuff to make you do that there. So come one, come all, just having a ball. Beware of the owner, cause the owner's a dog. I got y'all back off the wall.
Just let me know, no. I like the way that you talk. I like the way that you
Oh my god,
I make you wanna say,
oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, mwah. Oh my god, oh my god,
I make you wanna say,
oh my god, oh my god.
baby, baby, wanna be my lady? Let's take a ride in my blue Mercedes. Green grass, sitting on a beanbag. Close your eyes so the dream lasts. No fading away, just blazing shade. Night will turn to amazing day. You and I and you. Let's do what lovers do. Do that dance, so do that dance. Do that dance, so do that dance. Do that dance, so do that.
just let me know, no. I like the way that you talk. I like the way that you walk. Fresh boom bang, you so beautiful. Can't wait till we kiss. Give me your lips. Crash boom bang, you're so beautiful. Oh my god.
Thus, the educators of Generation Z use various methods through the combination of traditional teaching skills and digitalized teaching materials. As for the millennials, the exposure of digital teaching materials is still valid but is not encouraged to be combined as they are likely to inappropriately multitask with technology. Unlike Generation Z, the millennials will be easily distracted and lost focus on their main task. That's all from me. Thank you.
Okay, alright students. Now let's start our game. Okay, look at the question and ready to play. Alright, what is this answer? Come.
Hello and very good morning class. Next chapter, Biology, Heart Structure. Okay, today we will learn about our heart structure. Andrew, where is artery pulmonary?
I don't know, sir.
Surely you don't know? Surely, yes, here, artery pulmonary. You can see it. Can. It's okay, technology is something. Learn with, sorry. Learn it.
Wow, we see.
Hi, today I'm going to tell you about section 4. Challenges will Generation Z face in the future? One of the challenges is mental health problems. Actually, the main function of social networking is to socialize with people around us via internet. However, individuals who spend too much time with their gadgets will feel moody and will lock themselves away from people around them. As days passes by, they are obsessed with it. Those individuals start to feel depressed and might have emotional mental issues by crying and feeling paranoid about the world they live in right now. As a proof, statistics shows that the number of patients with mental sickness in Malaysia has increased up to 11.25% from 2006 to 2016. Furthermore, there are patients with heart problems. Malaysian health report shows that the patient who suffer from mental sickness is from the age gap of 16 to 19 years old. The next challenges facing by Generation Z is starting family life. It will be a major challenge for Generation Z to start a family life by considering the feminist movement of Generation Z. Furthermore, women might give up their careers to become housewives or stay-at-home moms, both of which are full-time and thankless job. Thus, this is due to their strong-minded characteristic, which is enough to forget their marriage and live out their own way in life. Moreover, women of Generation Z know what to do and they are independent enough to live their own life as well. Consequently, marriage rate will decline. That's all. Thank you.
So I would like to continue with challenges will Generation Z face in the future. One of the challenges is physical health. Due to a sedentary lifestyle and skyrocketing rates of obesity, this generation may live shorter, less healthy lives than their parents despite the medical advance throughout the years. Worse, in a time of shrinking family budgets the cheapest food option remain the unhealthiest and the access to safe, the attractive face for physical activity are limited for children for children living in poverty. Besides, the Generation Z who appears to be seamless integrate technology into their everyday realities might be often facing problems like tension, headache, and dry eyes when they constantly staring at digital device screen. Next challenge is the increasing of unemployment rate. In Generation Z, 1 in 2 people will eventually earn a degree and receive a higher education, which means that there will be a large number of professionals and experts. This will inevitably lead to an imbalance in the setting and adoption of tasks in the workplace, including the selection of experts. Besides, mechanization and automation of manual construction activities would increase rapidly during Generation Z. Consequently, manual construction activities will be mechanized and automated, so it does not need people to control it. Thank you.
Last but not least, the challenge that will Generation Z face in the future is an imbalanced social life. With social networks taking over, social life and the balance that it brought will slowly be phased out, which is a major worry. All of their communications take place on the internet, and they demonstrate very little verbal communication skills. Not only that, they will gradually become more doubtful about their ability to do well in social situations as well. It is because most of their lives are spent browsing the World Wide Web. This will make them to miss chances to gain social practice and experience. Besides, Generation Z will lack social skill, which means they will surely become detached and emotionally unavailable because they are weak from the point of expression, oral communication, conviction, and interpersonal skills.
A very good day. Today, I would like to talk about strategies for the challenge faced by Generation Z. As we know, every challenge has their strategy to solve it. There are some of them. Too much talk about the impact will occur if using social networking without limitation. The overthinking can make Generation Z depressed and will suicide themselves. This problem can be coped by meet counselor who in charge near them. Next, to cope with the challenge of starting family life is they need to improve the manners of the quality of women and men in marriage. Women often are the ones who adjust their schedule and make compromise when the need of children and other family members collide with work. Thirdly, to overcome the problem physical health, Generation Z need to do physical activities. When they playing games, they will feel hungry and take junk food as it very easy to get and no need to cook. The junk food will make a bad effect to their body. It is obesity. The next slide is problem and how to solve it. The problem stress and the strategies meet the counselor. The counselor will bring them to be a human who are ready. They also ask Generation Z to do mental physiotherapy and bring back our normal mental health. And the last one, Generation Z need to always positive thinking with that we do to and the things that we do can cure the negative effect. The next strategy is relation problem and the strategy is improve the manners. Generation Z need to solve this problem and they have to sacrifice their time and freedom to carry the whole responsibility. Men should work flexibly and take greater responsibility for caring to their children. So the society should empower and connect by each other by engaging with people and relate communities in different kind of social events, not to social media. And the last one is physical health, and the strategies is doing physical activity. Generation Z need to go out from their home and doing anything physical activity to burn out the fat that has stored in their body. They need to save their life before it becomes serious. Besides, using to avoid from playing mobile phone in the night, Generation Z need to spend their time with their family members in night, such as watching television together. That's all. Thank you.
Hello and very good day. I will continue with our strategies. The next strategies, or number 4, is very detailed. Generation Z should very detailed and just not only focus in one subject only. And the last point is make a schedule. Next slide. From our problem or Generation Z problem, I will give some strategies to reduce this problem that faced by Generation Z. Fourth point, from unemployment. For me to reduce this challenge, Generation Z should vary their talent. Although the machine can work without a break, but it still has a problem such as intelligence, communication, and calculation that human can handle more. This shows Generation Z should take advantage and their talent and not only focus on subject university. Vary your talent. Last point, to balancing their time or in problem low social time, I advise to make a schedule. For me, make a schedule is one of the some good point to solve this problem. And from Malaysia Family Institute, the widely of uses technology encouraged to make their family life break. That's because Generation Z can balancing their time with family and technology. That's why Generation Z should make a schedule or timetable and consistent follow it. Thank you.
Okay. A very good day. So today I'll be concluding of what my friends has told. So the conclusion for this topic is going to be Generation Z is an advanced generation in terms of technology, but there are certain setbacks that give negative effect on them, such as mentioned in challenges faced by Generation Z and the differences between Generation Z and Y. Many Generation Z pay more attention to their own values and appearances, and the statistics of man makeup has increased. Other than that, Generation Z are more conservative about money. Generation Z have really traveled a long way to reach these leagues, where they don't have to bring any books to their school. Not really to say any, they have to bring some, but most of their notes are given online by OneDrive cloud storage. So the teachers who is teaching in this era of Generation Z will feel more easy to pass notes to their students as they can check it online. Generation Z is a generation that requires internet all the time for personal use and tasks, which requires them to do their work. Furthermore, young people in Generation Z has the ability to multitask and respond to several stimuli at the same time. That is called as continuous partial attention. Because of that, they can focus on many things at once. There is also a chance where Generation Z will face an imbalanced social life because of their ignorance to their surroundings, as they are more focused on their technology in hand. With the conclusion is proven that Generation Z are digital natives that will change the future even more, as we can wait and see. Thank you.
Thank you.
And then